Welcome to Whisperwood Stories. Today, we read 2 stories from r/nosleep. Let's begin. Our first story is from IOughtToBeThrownAway. I broke in and found them this way, and now I don't know what to do. I need advice. I know I shouldn't have done it, so please, don't preach. Please just tell me what in the goddamn hell I'm supposed to do now, because I'm scared and I don't even have a choice. Not really. But the fact is that I put myself here. I chose to break in and now I'm screwed. Utterly screwed, no matter what. And I'm sure it will seem wrong to you, but I had my reasons. Mainly, my reasons were the goddamn bills. I'm tired of living in a stupid halfway house and eating white bread and peanut butter. And I'm tired of everybody treating me like a nobody. Just because I did some stuff in my past. So I broke in. Figured, judging by the house itself, she was probably rich enough that she wouldn't really miss a bag of jewelry and a wad of cash. It wouldn't hurt her quality of life as much as it would help mine, so I was gonna steal some stuff. She'd be shaken up but not harmed. I was just gonna threaten her and tell her to load up all of that fancy stuff into my bag, that was all. But, goddamn. She was dead when I got here. I found her this way when I broke in, on the bed. The woman, a mom, wearing a bathrobe. Well, that poor baby was crying in his crib. Looked like the mom had overdosed on some pills or something, I don't know. But I've seen dead bodies before, and I knew at first glance she'd be that way, for at least a little while. She had that waxy, not quite real look. There was a mess of spit or vomit in her mouth, on her chin, and the room stank like all hell. I couldn't tell if it was a baby diaper or maybe the woman's. Maybe she had an accident because of the OD or something. So here I am, posting because I have no goddamn clue what to do. That baby is still just lying there in his crib screaming, and that woman is very, very dead. I can't just leave the baby. He'll die of starvation or something. I see formula mix on the shelf, a whole bunch. Suppose I could try and feed him, but I don't know the first thing about taking care of a kid. And obviously I can't take the kid. That would be kidnapping. If I call the cops to report this whole mess, I'll be sent back to jail for violating my parole. Breaking and entering. There won't even be any use lying. They'll know in an instant why I was really here. I can't go back to jail. And I can't leave this baby to die. So what the hell should I do? Someone, please tell me what to do. I need a way out of this. I'm not a monster. I can't let the kids starve. Tell me, how do I fix this? Our second story is from Cardinal. I eavesdropped on a conversation in a bar, and I regret every second of it. I never should have gone to that bar. It was a Friday night. I just wanted to have a nice drink to end off the week. I never could have thought that it would end this way. When I walked in and scanned the room, the place was almost dead. Just me, a few old guys at the bar, and this one group of 2 in the back corner. I didn't think anything of them at first. Just another couple who wanted a drink. I should have been more wary. When I sat down and ordered my drink, I I tried to find something to focus on. The TV was just static, and my phone was almost dead, so I let my mind wander around the room. I eventually settled on listening to the small snippets of their conversations. And look, before you judge me, I know that eavesdropping is rude, but I've never really cared too much. If I didn't do anything with it, there's no harm done, right? I suppose I was wrong, but it doesn't matter now. Anyway, after listening to the husband's conversations at the bar for a bit, I settled on the talk somewhere to my right side. It didn't seem that interesting at first, it just sounded like a couple telling each other how their day went. But eventually, it got strange. I think I went from absent-mindedly listening to paying full attention to the conversation. I heard the woman say, "I think the neighbors are getting suspicious." Now, more interested and with the drink in hand, I somewhat covertly moved from the bar to the booth next to theirs. I tried masking my intentions by pretending to look at the music choice in the old jukebox on my way there. In hindsight, I'm sure I looked like an idiot, but in my head I was thinking, and the Oscar goes to this guy. I wish I could still be that optimistic. After I sat down, I could hear them much more clearly. I knew that choosing that house was a bad idea. Nosy neighbors were almost guaranteed. Calm down, Rick. Do you want everyone in the bar to find us out? Okay, fine, Amy. Let's just go home, dig him up, and get the hell out of this town. This was where I made mistake one of many. I choked. It wasn't that loud or noticeable, but it was enough. Their conversation abruptly stopped, leaving me feeling extremely conspicuous. Without finishing or paying for my drink, I slowly got up and left the bar, positive that both of them were staring at me. All I did was sit in my car. I didn't know what to do. Call the police? And say what? That I heard a spooky conversation in a bar? For all I'd known, they could have been talking about their pets. Before I could decide, I saw them come out of the bar. They weren't running, but I could tell that they were in a hurry. My only clear thought was to follow them. That was mistake number 2. Following them home was quite an ordeal. I had to stay far enough behind them to not make them more suspicious of me, but close enough to not lose them. I thought that I had indeed lost them a couple of times, but eventually they pulled into a driveway. All I could think to do was park down the street and wait. So I waited, and waited, and waited. It was odd. I didn't even realize that I had fallen asleep, but I woke up to headlights in my face. Their car was leaving. That was my chance. After they turned off onto the street, I got out of my car and ran up to the house. Peeking into the windows didn't get me anywhere, as they were all covered by thick curtains, so I decided to try my luck with the back windows, or back door, and jump the fence. That's when I remembered why I was there. Dig them up, the man had said. If I was going to find anything, it wouldn't be inside. Mistake number 3. I started scanning the backyard for anything strange. Then I saw the hole. That huge hole caught my eye immediately. Dig them up. That line played over and over again in my head as I stepped closer. Dig. 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 It could have been anything. A pair of dogs, a bundle of plants, a hidden cash box. My imagination was going crazy. I wish it was one of those. But when I stepped up to the hole, my worst fear was realized. Bodies. Human bodies. 2 of them, lying next to each other in a shallow grave. That wasn't the worst part, though. It was them. It was Rick and Amy, the 2 I'd overheard in the bar. I couldn't move. They were dead. Long dead. But I had just seen them. It couldn't be real, none of it. I told myself to move, run, scream, anything. But I didn't move. I didn't speak. And that was my last mistake. My senses were dulled, but I still heard. I still heard when the back door opened. I still heard every step on the dying grass behind me. And I still heard Rick. Except, it wasn't the same Rick. A deep, harsh Rick. A Rick that probably wouldn't be Rick for much longer. Well, well, well. I guess your rudeness doesn't stop at eavesdropping. Better for me, I guess. Now I only need one more for Amy. For me, though, you'll do just fine. I didn't look at him. I couldn't look at him. All I could do was hear him take one final step. Then I woke up. On my bed, in my house, my phone blaring. It was just a dream. A dream. I don't think I've ever been more thankful to wake up in my life. After getting my bearings, I decided to see what all the ringing was about. Picking my phone up, I saw that I had several missed calls and texts from coworkers. Coworkers wondering where I was. I was confused until I looked at the calendar on my phone and saw that it was Wednesday. It had been 5 days? I couldn't figure out what I'd been doing for 5 whole days without remembering it. But I guess I didn't really have time to think. That's when it walked into my room. Ah, you're finally awake, Jimbo. Can I call you Jimbo? Actually, do other people call you Jimbo? I'm supposed to be taking notes. I backed into the corner, horrified. Whatever, I'll figure it out eventually. Hopefully, I can keep this one a little longer than I kept Rick. Doesn't matter too much to you, though. Clarissa is looking for a nice deep hole for you to call home. As for me, I'll be taking my phone and going to my job. See you in the mirror, Jimbo. And that's how I ended up here. I found an old phone under the bed, so I'm using that to type all of this out. I just heard a car pull up. I think Amy, or whoever she is now back. To people who see this, who might know me, don't trust it. It may look like me, may talk like me, hell, probably sits at my desk and taps its pen exactly like me, but it's not me. To everyone else, be careful whose conversations you decide to listen to. Thank you for listening to Whisperwood Stories. If you enjoyed, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe down below. Do you have a story that you'd like me to read here? Consider sending it to whisperwoodsubmissions@gmail.com. With permission of the authors, these stories have been slightly altered from their originals. Thank you again for listening, and be sure to check out the original Reddit posts. Don't let the shadows get too close.